There we go. That's why you couldn't hear me, because I turned that off. So wow, we're off to a start. I guess that's a precursor for how the rest of the show is going to go today. I can already tell. I will explain. This is going to be a complex show, kind of in a very different way. I won't say more complex than usual, but definitely a different way than usual. And what I was saying that you couldn't hear me on was that I just realized I had made some changes to this camera, and because I took something off of it and didn't reset it, which I knew when I took it off that was going to happen. Let's see here. Looks like that's focused now, I hope. I kind of knew when I did that, and I thought I really should do this now. I should fix it now, and then I didn't. I can tell there's like stuff in screen that you shouldn't be seeing. How's that even possible? Oh, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Whatever, it's here. Hey, everybody, how you doing today? How is everybody? Looks like we got a pretty good audience today so far. This is very, very nice to see. No audio, better. There we go. Everybody's there. Hell in a handbasket. Mr. Sean says, yes, Sean, that is correct. Hey, speaking of, you guys may not know this because I've barely told anybody, but Sean Nipper and I are doing a podcast now. It is on anchor.fm. You can find it now if you go to anchor.fm/PhotoJoseph. That's where the podcast is right now. It has not yet been approved on iTunes. I don't know what happened, but it didn't. But I did a manual submission the other day, and so now hopefully within a couple days it'll be there, and then I can start telling you about it for real. But it's been going for a few weeks now. It's been kind of fun. We've been enjoying it. Check it out. Yeah, Anchor's where it is now, but it'll be on iTunes soon, and that's where everybody's going to want to see it, I am sure. Oh, we got chats coming in all over the place. Excellent. Good. Okay. Such a good idea for focusing. Yeah, the focus target, especially because the Blackmagic camera kind of really is bad at focusing, honestly. I mean, I could have the target there, and it's like, can't find focus. Seriously? Okay. Allow me to explain what today's show is. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory, and then we're going to do a behind the scenes, and then I'm going to actually do the show and hope that it doesn't completely implode on me. So here's the deal. I've been plotting this video for a long time. I wasn't originally going to do it as a live show, may still not, but the idea of the video was quite simple, but it's one of those that, like, it starts off as a simple idea, and you're going to record it, and for those of you who saw the AMA I did last week, I said I was planning on doing this when I was in New York, just like in the hotel room, but then I had a whole flight issue and didn't have the time for that. But the longer I waited to do it, the more the idea grew and germinated, like, oh, I should include this, I should talk about that, I got to show how to do this, and it just became one of those big things. And so, and then, because, you know, why not, I ended up painting an entire new, that's the wrong one, I ended up painting an entire new set for it. There we go. I set up a whole new set for this, and that's not totally properly lit. I have to turn off some of these lights to make that look totally right. But anyway, I did a whole new set for it. I mean, not just for that one video, it's for a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to do, but I ended up like, oh, I'll paint the wall. You know, it's, you know those things you're like, oh, I just got to do this. It's like at home, you go, oh, I got to hang the picture on the wall. That's it, you know, and your wife's going or your partner's going like, would you hang the picture already? Fine. So you get, oh, I don't have the right size nails. So you go to this hardware, and then you come back, you start hanging it, and it cracks the plaster. So now I got to spackle and repaint. And it's like this 5-minute project became a weekend-long adventure. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. So yesterday, I sit down to record it. And I had scripted the whole thing, not with the intention of doing it as a teleprompting read, but as an intention of just making sure it's totally planned out. I know what I'm going to do, know what I'm going to say. You know, I don't have to say these words verbatim, but at least I know what I'm going to do. So that's the plan. So I sit down yesterday to start recording it, and I'm kind of going through it, and I realized that this, when I don't plan what I'm going to say to the word, I can do this all day long. You start writing a script, and I'm like, and then what I wanted to tell you about was the feature where you push on the button, and that's how I just, so I thought, okay, you know what? I've got a teleprompter rig set up. I will do the teleprompter at least for the intro. And then when I go to the actual demo part, then I will switch to my kind of normal routine. But I already knew exactly what I was going to do. So I do that, teleprompt at the beginning, start doing the recorder for the impromptu part, and it's like it's not feeling it. My mind, I don't know, it just wasn't working. So I thought, I have an idea that is probably not going to work, but I'm going to test it. And I recorded this yesterday, and in the event that today's thing goes completely to pot, I may end up going back to, I don't know. But the teleprompting system that I use, let me grab that. I set it over here because I needed it for the, for the countdown. The teleprompting system that I use is a iOS app and just a little mirror rig thing to hold the iPad. It's called Prompt Smart. It's pretty cool. I've talked about it before on the show. It's a really neat thing, and it will allow you to remote control one iPad, one iOS device from another iOS device. Neat. And so you can control things like the scrolling speed, or you can stop it and back up if you flub a line or whatever. And I realized yesterday one of the other features that it has is I can set the remote to show me the same words that are on the screen. Neat, right? So here's what I ended up doing. This iPad is on the camera. I've got the iPhone in my screen that I would be doing the demo from. And I record a whole thing where I'm reading the script from here, pretending to manipulate the screen. And I can look up at the camera and see the words in the same place, continue reading from there, go back to here and back to here. And I record the whole thing that way, and it worked out really well. Except that means now I have to record the screen motions and hope that the timing lines up, which of course is totally not going to happen. But it's a concept. It's a proof of concept. So that's what I was trying to do. Anyway, so that was the plan. And then last night I'm like, I still haven't done a live show in a while. Maybe I should somehow integrate this. So here's the plan for today. You're like, you guys are going, you're crazy. Here's the plan for today. We are going to do the show, it's an Instagram topic thing. We're going to do the Instagram topic show as if I'm recording it for edited delivery later, simultaneously doing it live. So I'm going to do the intro reading off the teleprompter, and I'm going to show you the whole rig. I'm going to show you the whole setup before we start. I'm going to read the intro off the teleprompter just as if I had recorded it already, or just as if I was recording it, which I will be recording it, obviously. And we'll do that. And then I'll switch over to the actual demo part, and I will do that ad hoc as I would normally do a demo with you guys here. Hopefully I know I don't forget what I'm going to do, and I can just get through it all in one set. There's a chance that if I totally screw something up, I will kind of back up and just redo something so that I have that for the edit. So that's the plan. And if it's a total disaster, then I'll just delete this video and I'll just record the whole thing like I normally would have. But it's a test. It's something new to do. All right, so with that said, I think that's everything I need to say about that. So I can show you the setup. I'm going to take a look at the questions in here, see if there's anything popped up. And of course, as usual, at the end of the main show, I will come back for full Q&A, but I have a feeling this is going to be anyway. Let's see here. Well, Shark's saying you're having a cold cider in London, thinking of me. Well, that is very kind of you. I appreciate that. And Sean asking how my hand is. Yeah, I see this. Anybody who's following me on Twitter, I got attacked by a dog while I was out running on Monday. That was fun. Nice big German Shepherd that had gotten away from its owner that decided that I looked like breakfast. Very happy about that. Anyway, but it's fine. I will live. Assured Creative Media, my Lumix Pro box arrived today for my Lumix Pro Platinum membership. Have you unboxed yours yet? I did, because I needed the strap. I haven't done a video. So what he's talking about is the Lumix Pro services, LPS. This is for professional photographers, like Canon's got their pro services, Nikon has theirs, so that you can, I don't remember all the things that it comes with, but basically you have, fast turnaround repairs, loaner gear, a bunch of benefits to it if you are a pro user and it, qualifies for certain cameras. You have to own certain cameras, I think even a certain amount of gear, and then you qualify for it. And there are multiple levels for it, tiers. I think there's a free tier and then there's paid tiers. And anyway, it's awesome. Lumix Pro Services, you should totally look it up. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Let me give you a tour of what we've got here. So this is the setup. You may have already seen part of it. If I go to this camera, you can see, you can see a crotch shot. That is the setup of what it will ultimately be. But let me give you the tour. So you can see, and I think on this, yeah, you can see quite the wide shot here. I just painted a big patch on the wall here, which looks quite nice actually. And got the chair into place here. This light, this is kind of interesting. So this light is just a Felix LED light that I already owned. And this is one of those DIY diffusion panels that I built. This is made out of, you go to the hardware store and you buy a screen window repair kit. That's what this is. It's the frame for their screen window repair kit. And then this is just Mylar acetate or whatever it's called off Amazon, buy a big roll of that. So I make my own. So I got a bunch of these all over the place. They're kind of awesome. However, this will get replaced. You may have seen, and I was going to put the link in today's show, but then I realized it's no longer there. The deal is no longer there. But you may have seen I tweeted last week, I found completely accidentally on B&H the Aperture 120T, so the 120 tungsten light, which is normally a $600 light or something like that, was on sale for half price. And it's gone. The sale's gone, unfortunately. But I bought one. I figured, the fact that it's, I usually buy daylight lights, but for something like this, well, I can obviously set the camera to white balance for that, and it'll be fine. So I think I'm going to end up using that, because this is kind of a cumbersome rig there. But yeah, kind of scored on that one. So hopefully you caught the tweet. I know a bunch of people saw the tweet. Hopefully you got lucky and got that. Okay, so that's the diffusion panel lighting. You can see the audio here. It's an NTG2 boom mic, which I am going to route the audio through when I do this portion of the show. Interestingly, I will also be recording this, which I just realized I'm not recording yet, but I'll have to turn that on. You know, I'm going to just do that now. I don't need any of this part for later, but I am going to just hit record on everything because, you know, at some point, I'm going to need all this. And if I don't do it now, I will forget later. I told you this show's a complete... This is one of those. Get the recording on the mixer, and everything else is recording. Oh, I should actually make sure it's recording the right thing. Yes, it is. Okay, good. All right, so that's good. So now, back to the audio here. So the audio setup, NTG2 going into the camera. We'll talk about that in a second. When I do the live thing, you will hear me through this mic. Interestingly, because of the way that this mic that I'm wearing is rigged up, it is reducing background noise. So this mic will actually sound better than the boom for the live portion of the show. Hopefully, once I do the audio editing, that ends up sounding better. If not, then I got to figure I'm doing something wrong because, you know, it's a boom. It should be awesome. Anyway, so that's rigged up into here. That is going into the camera. So I realize there's not a whole lot of light on the camera setup here, but this is a GH5S. This is a relatively low light setup, so I'm using it at the 2500 native ISO. It's at like I don't remember now, 5 or 4 or something. There we go, F5. It was originally at f6.3, but then once I put up the teleprompting rig, that cuts out some of the light, so I had to open it up a little bit. So there's that setup. You can see the XLR1 here with the audio rig going into that. This is the teleprompter cover, because you can't have any light hitting the back of the mirrored glass, I guess is the right way to put it, because that'll bounce back into the lens. So you really have to make sure that you have that covered. And if I do a switch over now, yeah, so let's see if I uncover it, see what happens. You get that glare on there, so you really got to be careful that that cover is in place. So I'll put that on there. Now I am going to, assuming I don't totally screw this up and forget, I am going to, let's go back over here, record the video from the GH5S internally. So that's going to have its own clean recording there. My intention was to also record the iPhone screen independently, just using the built-in iOS recorder, so that I would then, after the live show, I would do my own edit using those two clean sources. However, what I realized about 10 minutes before we went live is that when you connect, and I did know this before, I just forgotten, when you connect an iOS device to the HDMI output, which is how you're going to see my screen and how you always would see my screen, right? It disables that internal recording feature. So that little internal button to record the screen, you hit that and it doesn't do anything. It's not available, which really is a bummer. So that means that you're only going to be able to see, well, I'm only going to be able to record what you guys see. So hopefully that works out. But that's one more reason that this whole thing may not work out for the edited piece. But hey, whatever. It's how I would normally do a show. I was just kind of trying to take it like next level. So there's that. Okay, let's see here. Anything else I need to tell you about the setup? Oh, yeah, I didn't finish this thing. So if we look back at this setup, again, the lighting configuration. So there's one light there that is the main, and then there are two, you can see there, just a little light that's a blue gelled light just to give it a little accent. And there's another one over here that is set to a very warm temperature that you can't see, but you can kind of see if you look over there, you can kind of see the glow, the warm glow from that. So that ultimately gives us a look that is like this. Let's bring that up. And if I turn off the house light that is spilling onto it, that is what the final setup should look like. So that's the intention, that's the plan. We'll see. So we got that, the video, audio is going to that. I mean, this is a pretty simple setup, but okay, I guess that's that. I need that there. Yes, all right. So anyway, like I said, I can't record all the independents, all the ISOs as I had expected to, but I still am recording that one. So is there anything else I need to do at this point? Let me make sure this is recording. That is actually recording. Excellent. And that's recording, and I guess we're good to go. I wish I could show you a little bit more of the teleprompting thing. Oh, I'll tell you something else about the teleprompting software. So it's called, like I said, Prompt Smart. One of the reasons that I was originally so excited about this is it has what they call voice track, where it follows you talking and moves the teleprompter as required. So that if you pause or you slow down or speed up, it just keeps up with you, which is, in theory, an incredible idea. sadly, in practice, it has proved to be far, far, far more frustrating than not. Part of it is you have to go in and let's say that I'm going to talk about, let's say I'm going to say the Lumix S1, right? Well, if I just write S1, it may not interpret that. So I may have to kind of separate the S and then write the word one. And it goes really deep into that. Like every little thing that would be an abbreviation, acronym, whatever, you have to very, very carefully write it out so that the system interprets it and understands that you read that word and moves on. And I just ended up giving up on it. So instead what I've been doing is I have been just using the normal kind of scrolling, pick a scrolling speed and let it go. And that has proved out to be quite good. However, yesterday I ran into an issue, and I'm not saying this to slag on PromptSmart because I do think it's a good app with some good development team behind it, but you know, it just sometimes things need work. On the remote control app, you can change the control speed, right? Makes sense. So I'd set it to, let's just say I started at 200 words per minute, and that's where it's deep. And I don't know if that's accurate. I don't care if it's accurate. I just need it to be faster or slower. So I started to say 200, and it feels too slow. So I speed it up to 210, still too slow. Speed it up to 220, now it's too fast. Go back to 210, still too fast. 200, still too fast. Go all the way down to 170, it's still too fast. Clearly, the sliders are not really lining up. So anyway, so hopefully the timing is going to work out for today's thing. Yikes. Okay, what else we got? Anything else in here? Let's see here. Let's just take a quick look at the questions. And Bart says, it's been a long time since you've watched the live show. I just paused the video to go do something. Can't pause real life, Bart. That's funny. No, you can't. No, you can't. Oh, Tom, greetings. Tom from Panasonic is talking about Panasonic USA is offering the LPS Platinum now for $199. We'll start offering LPS Basic for free within 2019. There you go. Thank you, Tom, for popping in. That was an unexpected question, so I was not prepared for it, so I'm very glad you were here to save me. I'm not afraid of grain. Just a heads up, Twitter is having connection issues. I can't do anything about that. Actually, I should be curious to see if anybody's watching anywhere else. Oh yeah, Periscope, it says warning. Oh well, what are you gonna do? And Assure Creative Media, not paid yet for membership. Okay, we're talking about the membership thing. Okay, let's get on with it, shall we? So, I'm gonna leave this on. That's right, I decided to leave that on. So I'm going to switch over to the other system, which I need both of these iPads. Okay. Let's go over here. So see, I'll kind of get this set up and then I'll switch over to the real camera. So iPad, it just goes on to this little mirrored tray here, which is really, really neat. This remote control, by the way, I will use to do a final focus on this camera and actually start recording. So I'll try not to trip over that. That's there. Okay, load up the right script, hit play on that screen, and that is correct. Okay, now I'm going to be using, be interesting to see how that works. I'll connect that in a moment. I'm going to be using this as the remote control for that. Usually I'd use the iPhone, but I need the iPhone for the demo. So I'll do that in a moment. Let's just get that to the top. Okay, so that's set up. I will record there separately once I start. So this is kind of the real process of recording one of these videos, but you know, like I said, I'm always changing things up. Let's just turn off that light before I forget. Excellent. And all right, I guess it's time to take a seat here and switch to the, there. Why is it echoing? That was supposed to disable. Oh, that's right. It's not echoing. That's just me. There we go. It is not echoing, right? Confirm for me it's not echoing. I'm gonna have to run over and check the what do you call it? The chats. I'm gonna get rid of my ears so they don't show up on screen because that would look silly. But you should be hearing me now. I know I'm not in the right position, so it's not optimum, but you should be hearing me now, not on an echo. I am going to very quickly check that and make sure. That is the case. No one's telling me there's an echo. And yeah. Well, no one's telling me there's an echo, so I'm going to hope that means there isn't one. All right, perfect. There we go. Okay, so let's get the iPhone back up. Let's see here. There we go. There's the iPhone in place. I really need some confirmation that you guys can hear me, just because otherwise my head will explode. Please, somebody please tell me that you can hear me. And I'm going to run back and check the chat one more time. Okay, now I'm firing up the remote control app here. So it's kind of cool. Oh, is that the, yeah, that's the remote. So I see it on here. I have a play button so I can start moving it. You can't see the text on your screen. Obviously, it's the point. And let's make sure it is actually connected. It is. Hit play on there. It is. Stop. Scroll that back up. Super. So that's all working. Excellent. Excellent. Got my water off camera here. My favorite mug. All right, get into position. Okay, I'm going to go check and make sure that you guys can hear me. Let's see what somebody said. You can hear me in the chat room. We can hear me. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Let's see where I put that remote. And here we go. Oops, it's all tangled up. All right. Interesting. I can't. So normally for the confidence monitor, I guess I didn't show you when we had the wide shot. I don't want to switch back to it now, but in the wide shot there is a TV over here, just a TV that's on wheels. That is my confidence monitor for when I'm doing the live show. I've been using that as a confidence monitor for the recording. Just, run the HDMI into there from the camera, and that way I can leave on the on-screen display, and I can check focus. I can see that it's grabbing the right thing to focus, and I can verify that it is actually recording when I hit the record button, which is super awesome. I can't do that here, so because I have that off so that you guys don't see all that, and so that doesn't get recorded. So I guess what I will do is just hit the button, and I'm going to go check that it actually is recording. Look on there, and yes, it is recording. Okay, superb. Make sure that's all nice in place still. Oh boy, this is going to be a interesting show, isn't it? All right, what's in my pocket? Oh, it's in my pocket. It's my mic pack, which is also still recording, which may end up having to use. Who knows? Okay. Make sure the shirt looks good. Make sure the gut's sucked in. You know how that works. All right, that's recording. That light is off. I think we're good to go. So we're just going to do it. So I'm going to take you through the intro. So there's an opening intro that's kind of the pre-roll. And there'll be a little bit of a longer pause. And then I will start the main intro. And when I finish the main intro, then I'm going to go to the phone and start doing the demo, which of course you will see the entire time. And hopefully, fingers all crossed, I don't totally botch it up. Yeah, so let's give it a go. Looks good, sounds good. Let's do it. That's already recording. Yep, we're good. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crop your photos for Instagram to maximize screen real estate, how to crop them to show the entire vertical or horizontal photo on Instagram, and how to create 2 and even 3 tile wide images for swiping in Instagram, all without leaving your smartphone. We all know that it's best to take up as much screen real estate as possible in Instagram, which means ideally posting vertically cropped photos, or at minimum square, but never landscape. But some photos need to be seen in landscape, and some vertical photos don't crop well to the Instagram ratio. Most digital cameras shoot in a 3:2 aspect ratio, and Micro Four Thirds is a 4:3 ratio. However, Instagram crops to a 5:4 ratio, so pretty much no matter what, you're cropping. If you want to post your images without cropping, you have to add borders to them, which is typically done in Photoshop on the desktop and then copied to a phone for posting. And another option, if it fits the format of your photo, is to make an image that's 2 or even 3 tiles wide so the viewer has to swipe to see the entire photo, which also usually requires going to the desktop to edit the photo, then sending it back to the phone for posting. I was inspired to make this video because my friend Sean Bagshaw made a video for showing how to crop for Instagram in Photoshop on the desktop using the Tony Kuiper tools, which was really cool. I'll link to his video at the end. In his video, Sean also pointed out that even if you do decide to add borders to your images to maintain the full aspect ratio of the original shot, that you should also include an image that is cropped to Instagram's preferred size. Because not only does it fill up the screen to capture the attention as the viewer scrolls by, but also it makes your thumbnails look better. Borders on the image will show up in the thumbnail view, which definitely looks bad. Sean's video was all about doing this on the desktop, so I wanted to show you how to do this on mobile. So let's get some numbers out of the way. As of the recording of this video in mid-2019, subject to change, Google is your friend here, don't be afraid to search for the latest numbers, Instagram publishes photos at 1080 pixels wide and up to 1350 pixels tall. It can be as little as 566 tall, but since we want to take up maximum screen real estate, I'll be using 1350 tall throughout this video. Finally, I manage my photos in Lightroom, but it doesn't matter what you're using. As long as you have high enough resolution photos on your phone, the process for cropping the photos doesn't change. Also, I've written up a text version of these tips on my website, which I'll put a link to at the end of this video. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to start with this photo here, which is shot in 3:2 aspect ratio. And if we look at the crop thing here, you can see it's uncropped yet. And, well, it needs a little bit of cropping to begin with. So I'll just leave it at the native ratio. Let's bring that in a little bit like so. And if I send this to Instagram as it is going to want to recrop the photo because it's not the 5:4. So I'm going to now crop this for Instagram. I'm going to go to the share menu, tap on open in. And at this point, I'm going to use the small image size, the 2048. There's also the option within Lightroom to use the maximum available, but I don't need that yet, but I will in the future. Photoshop Mix is the tool that I'm using here. You see it says copy to Photoshop Mix here. And incidentally, if you haven't seen this before, you can rearrange these icons on here. Just tap and hold and drag it around. Photoshop Mix is what I want. So I open that up. And in a moment here, we'll be in Photoshop Mix, ready to go. All right, the next thing to do, or the first thing to do in Photoshop Mix, is to set up the canvas to the optimum size for Instagram. So to do that, I go to the crop menu, and then at the bottom here in the middle, you'll see it says Custom. Tap on Custom, and what I'm creating in here is not just aspect ratio, but the actual size of the image that I want on Instagram. So that's going to be a width of 1080 pixels and a height of 1350. Tap OK, tap the check mark, and now I've got a canvas that is that size, and I can rearrange or resize my picture however is needed in there. There we go. So I'm going to start by filling the space. So I could do this crop part of it in Lightroom, but since I'm going to crop in here, I just kind of do the whole thing in here. May as well. So I'll go ahead and crop this out. Let's make that fill the screen on the width. And you'll see there, you can see that it really snaps to the edges very nicely, making this really easy to do. And I want to align it, let's say, right about like so. Okay, there's my normal crop, my full screen crop. Up in the top right, I tap the share button and then save that to the camera roll. Now I'm going to do the same picture a second time, but showing the entire thing. So I'll pinch this back down so that it fills top to bottom and center that, and that is going to create the white borders. Now, it shows up as transparency, and we actually will get transparency in Instagram up until it actually posts. It's just the way that it works. Tap the share button again, camera roll, and there we go. Okay, so now we have those two images ready to post. Let's go over to Instagram. Hope that nothing too inappropriate shows up on the screen when it first launches. Tap on the plus, and the first image is actually the second one here because they're in reverse, so I select that first image. You got to make sure you tap the little double-headed arrow so it pinches out, so it zooms out. There's the whole thing, so this is the cropped full screen version. Then tap the little multi-selector tool, tap the second one, and now we have the second one loaded up. From here, when I hit next, at this point, you're kind of seeing it, but not with the full borders, so we need to go next again, and then tap on the icons here to really see what it's going to look like. So this is what it will look like when people are scrolling through. They'll see the full screen image like so, and then the full image with the white borders like that. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And again, you want to have this first one because this is what your thumbnail will be built off of when you're looking at the thumbnail view. Neat. Okay, let's do this again for a landscape photo. So let's see, the next one here, we're going to use this one. Same thing. I'm going to go tap in here, open in. I'll choose small, but it's actually going to turn out that that's a mistake, but you'll see that in a moment. Copy that to Photoshop Mix. You don't have to worry about closing out the old file. It just automatically opens up a new one. And once again, change the size. And I go to change the canvas size, tap on custom, and I see that my width is plenty, but my height is not enough. I don't have 1350 pixels high because the 2048 width, the way I had cropped it already, didn't work out. Oops. So if that happens, just go back into Lightroom and do another open in, and this time I'll use the maximum available. So now I'm going to have a bit more data to work with. Normally I wouldn't need it, but here, of course, I did. Okay. So back into Photoshop Mix. Again, it creates that new canvas. And hit the crop button. Resize that. So this is going to be, once again, 1080 wide and 1350 tall. Okay, so that's zoomed way in there. But that's fine. Let's go ahead and pinch this down. And for the first image that I want, even though this was a landscape photo, I still want that vertical cropped image for the first opening shot. So I'm going to resize this. Now, a little tip for working in Photoshop Mix here, if you're having a hard time scaling it, it might be easier to move it over to the edge like this, grab the corner, and then pull it out. And you'll see it does very nicely snap to those edges there. And now I can easily pan this over and get the shot. So let's say right about there. That looks pretty good. All right, save that to the camera roll. And then we're going to do the exact same thing as I did before. Pinch that out, go to the edge there, go to the edge there, center that like so. Doesn't actually matter if it's centered or not, I suppose, but I want to center it. I think that's centered. It's not, is it? Whatever, close enough. Save this to the camera roll. And away we go. And at that point too, if you decided you didn't really want to show the full width, you wanted to go in a little bit closer, obviously you could. So now let's go back to Instagram. We're going to create another new photo. There's that first one. Again, tap the double-headed arrow to pinch out, tap the multi-select, tap the second one, and there it is. So next, tap on the preview, and this is the first thing that people will see, and then when they swipe, they'll see that. Now, one of the other advantages of doing this, other than just the simple fact of showing your whole image, is, and this is a bit anecdotal, I think this is what's happening, I can't guarantee it, but it seems to me that if someone is scrolling past your images, scrolls past your image there and doesn't swipe to see the second photo, that they're going to get shown by Instagram that same post again, starting on the second photo. And I say that because multiple times I've gone through an Instagram, just flipping through, and I see a picture, and I realize that that picture is part of a series, and that it's not the first, that it's the second part of a series. So I swipe back to see the first one, and realize I actually have already seen that photo. So I guess the first time I saw it, I just didn't swipe through, because the second one is new to me. So I think that's what's happening. So this really is, even though it's just one photo in this case, it is to your advantage, I believe, to get your feed out there more, right? To get it more likely to be seen by somebody, because Instagram might show it multiple times. Kind of neat. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's talk about doing the multi-tile panorama, because that is really, really cool. There's 3 different ways to do this, and there's what I'm going to call the easy way, there's the hard way, and then there's the full-on extra way, which is really a bit much, but you know, if you want to do it that way, you can. It gives you some advantages, obviously. We're going to start with this picture of this lovely lady here. This is Teresa model. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I am going to use maximum available because I know I'm going to want the bigger resolution. And back to mix. And I'm going to once again create that canvas at the default size. However, I'm going to be doing a 2-tile wide image, so that means my canvas to start has to be double width. So I go to the crop and custom, instead of making it 1080 wide, it's going to be 2160, so double 1080, and the same height, 1350 tall. Okay. Now I resize this image how I want it to be across a 2-tile swipe. Now, because this image doesn't fit into this, what would it be, a 8:5 ratio, I'm going to have to choose a crop position in here. So I could center it, I could put it at the top, put it at the bottom, but you have to snap it into a corner. I said center, but that's actually not true. You have to put it into a corner at this point. We will see what to do if you're not putting it into the corner, if you're not snapping it into the corner. That's the extra way of doing this. That's level 3 of this. But for now, just trust me, lock it into a corner. If you really don't want to crop it in the corner, let's just say for this photo, I really wanted it to be like that, then it'd be, without going the full-on extra mode, you should have cropped it that way in Lightroom or wherever you were to begin with. Anyway, let's get this going. So I position it like so. Okay, that's good. Now, the image on the canvas has been pinched to size, to the perfect size here. It is very important at this point that you do not pinch to scale the size again. You have an undo button if you do it accidentally, but you can't change that or things aren't going to line up. Okay, so that said, this is a canvas that's double wide. Now I'm going to change the size of this to the proper 1080 wide. Hit OK. Now I'm going to drag the image over and line up the left half. And this is where I was saying that it's really important that you use a corner so that it can snap to the corner. So we're snapping that. I'm not resizing it, I'm just moving it. I'm snapping to that corner. Let's export that out, camera roll, and we've just saved out the left side of the image. Now I'll go over and do the same thing on the right-hand side there. Save that out, camera roll, save that, and we're good. So now let's head over to Instagram and back out of this and create a new post again. We're going to start, we have to start again with the left-hand side. Don't forget to zoom out, do that, load the multi-selector. There's the second one, tap next. And at this point, we see a gap in there. That's just this preview. So once again, we have to go through to the final preview. And now you can see there's no gap, there's no visible line. So anybody looking at this is going to see this double wide image right there. Cool, right? Okay, now let's go to another level of this. Now we're going to go to level 2. Okay. For level 2, I'm going to use this picture here. In this one, I'm going to not have the centered position, the corner snapping exactly the way I explained it in the previous one. This is the one where I'm going to have to do a little bit of extra work. Open this in Photoshop Mix. And once again, I'm going to set the canvas to that double wide size. We're going to do double wide on here. So custom, and that was 2160 by 1350. You do this enough times, you'll remember the numbers, don't worry. Tap OK on there. And in this case, so if I was going to do a full normal like I did previously, I would set it like this, but that's not how I want to crop this one. I want to crop it in like so. Now you already saw how on the previous one I talked about how you had to snap into the corners. If I at this point change the canvas size to 1080, there's no way that I'm going to align this image. In fact, I'm going to make it really extra complicated. We'll do it like this. There's no way that I'm going to align this image exactly right on the left and right. It's just not going to happen. So what I have to do is get rid of all the extra data, all the surrounding data in there. So to do that, I will export this out to the camera roll as it is. It is going to save this out as the full resolution on there. It's actually a PNG what it's creating, so we're not losing any quality. However, it has gotten rid of the cropped edges. So now I can go back to the default screen here in Photoshop Mix, go plus to create a new project, image on my phone, and in all photos, there's the first image. Open this up, and you see up in the top right corner, or top left corner rather, it showed up very briefly. See if I move it around again, it shows the full size, 2160 by 1350. Now I can crop this. This one I can crop to that 1080. 1350 is already set. Move this over to the right. Gotta get out of the crop window there. Move this over to the right, like so. Export this to the camera roll, and move this over and export that to the camera roll. At this point too, don't forget you could just create a third image that is a full width, right? So I can go ahead in here and I have a feeling that that edge hadn't lined up. I might have gotten sloppy there. I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Let's hide the layers in there. Move that up. So I could export a full width photo like this as well. May as well. Camera roll. And let's see what happens. So back over to Instagram. Cancel out of this. Let's create another new post. We're going to start with that one on the left. Zoom out. Select the multi. Image 2, image 3. Hit next. Again, we don't see it lining up there yet. Go to next, see it here, and there it is. Perfect, I did get it lined up. So there we go. So there's that first and second image, and then the third image shows the full thing. So you can do that as well. All right, now we're going to level 3. Level 3 is basically the same thing we just did, except that we're going to do a 3-tile wide image. So back to Lightroom. My next image here, you can see it's quite a bit wider. Open this one up in Photoshop with the maximum available size, and copy to Photoshop. We're going to see a really big file in here, way bigger than we need. So this time we're going to recrop this, and now let's see 1080, because I don't want to get the math wrong. We're going to look into here, and we're going to go 1080 by 3 is 3240. Don't get that wrong. Okay, back over, 3240. There it goes. 3240 by 1350. Okay. And let's see here, how do I want to crop this image in there? Maybe pinch out a little bit. By the way, if you're doing this, and I pinch in, notice at the top it says layer. The layer is currently 7,000 something pixels wide, but the source is only 6,000. If I zoomed in like that, I would actually be scaling the photo up. So you want to keep an eye on that. You don't want to scale that up. So let's just make sure that we're stay under 6,000, but I will position it however I like. Let's say right about like so. Great, that's good. Once again, I have to share out that full image so that it creates that crop. Then I will open up that crop. And here you're about to see the trick for creating the 3-up. Okay, so remember our canvas is triple wide. If I go in here and I change this canvas size to 1080, which is what I'm going to do, and I move this image at this point, probably never going to get it back. I mean, okay, it'll snap to the center, but let's not mess with things. When I change the canvas size, it zoomed in perfectly into the center. So this, what we're looking at right now, is your perfect center crop. Export this to the camera roll. Now I can look over at the left side, position that to the camera roll, and do the right side and export that to the camera roll as well. Now when I go over to Instagram and post those photos, I can, oh, and of course I could have chosen to export out a single image all the way wide if I wanted to, but let's go ahead and create another new one. We're going to start, let's see, that's the left, the middle one was the left one. So I'm going to make sure we zoom out, select that, number 2, and then number 3. Did I do that right? I think I did that right. We're going to find out. Yes, I did. Look at that. There it is. There's the wide, next, and we can preview the whole thing. And there you go. And so now you have your full width image. I actually did one of these once, even doing it vertically. So if we go to my profile in here, you'll see a photo that was not that long ago where I did one of the bridge here, and you know, Jake warned me before the live show that Instagram was acting up and that files weren't necessarily loading. And it looks like I've done that. Well, what it will do is actually, what I had done was actually rotated the image sideways and then done the same thing of cropping. So to see the full height of the bridge, you had to rotate your phone and swipe. It's just, you know, it's just different options that you have. So there you go. So that's how you can go about creating these images for your Instagram account, where you're seeing the full width or the full height of the image without having to crop it in, but still simultaneously getting that thumbnail by loading that cropped image in first. You will get that thumbnail, and how you can create the 2 and 3 tile wide pans, which is, you know, frankly, it's kind of a lot of fun. Hey, if you aren't already following me on Instagram, please do that at PhotoJoseph. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, of course, do that. Hit that like button. And for those of you watching the live show, we're going to jump into the Q&A right about now. Ooh, that actually went pretty well. I think that might actually have worked. Whew. All right. Well, let's set everything back up. Switch over and grab my ears, and let's head over to the main system. Alrighty, audio is on, audio is working. I'll leave my ears out. Let me turn that backlight back on again. And what did you guys think? Did it actually work? Did it feel good? I'm like, whew, can't believe that happened. Hi, it's the Q&A. Let's see what's going on here. Let me pull up my shortcuts here, bring up the comments, and connect. There we go. And let's see what's going on in the comments there. So you guys are gonna tell me, what did you think? Did I succeed on there? See, I'm gonna ignore were you guys talking to each other. That's awesome. I'm just going to ignore that. Shark, thanks again for shouting out about your indie feature film. Very good. Mother and Wild shot entirely on a GH5. Love that. And if Panasonic helps, a GH5S. Can't help you with that part of it, but I'm glad to hear that you got some funding on that. That's awesome. Muhammad is asking me if I can speak Turkish. No, I cannot. Jason Joseph, hey buddy. Instagram does show all the images in a multi-photo share to you. It will show all of them, in fact. You will see them as individual photos if you don't swipe through to view them. I'm not sure if that's directed at me or not, but there you go. It was slick, you liked it, thank you. Shark says, of course you cracked, you're an AV pro. Just like me. Well, Shark, you know, one of these days you gotta come over here and we'll do a show together. How's that sound? Well, okay, well, this is the Q&A. So if anybody's got any questions, get them in there now. Tell me what you thought of that process. Do you like the look over there? I mean, it's a bit, I don't know, simple, but I like it. I kind of like the look, but tell me what do you think. And you can be honest, if you don't like the look, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. No, really, just let me know what you think in there. Shark says I cracked it. I appreciate that. Tom Wedge, that was really informative and all of one take. That was all in one. The only glitch was when the Instagram thing wouldn't load. Oh, and then when I couldn't get the numbers to load from the keypad wouldn't load. I don't know what was going on there. It just took its time and then it finally loaded. But otherwise, yeah, it actually did go pretty smoothly. I'm pretty good. Love the chair, Carr says. Excellent, thank you. Jason says that was for me. Okay, Jason, let me reread your comment. Instagram does show all the images in a multi-photo share to you. It will show all of them, in fact. You will see them as individual posts if you don't swipe through to view. Oh, okay, you're talking about what I was saying about what I think is happening is that Instagram is re-showing you the same post. That, I believe, is what you are talking about. So yeah, that's great. I mean, I've definitely experienced it, and I'd like to believe that this is good for content creators. And simply saying that I was right, they all do show up. There you go. Thank you, Jason Joseph. Bart says, Instagram and Facebook are having big issues today. That's why your image wouldn't load. Yeah, it seems that would be the case. Yeah, I had heard that before the show as well. So, you know, oh well, what are you going to do? Sometimes that's just the way it works. That's the joy of live, isn't it? Maybe I can comp that in. I wonder if I could maybe see the way that I just when I hit it and I don't know if I'll be able to comp it in and do it. Whatever, maybe I'll just cut that part out of the edit. We'll see. Shark says you love the look. I'm an Instagram noob. Are you following me on Instagram? Of course I'm following you. I don't know, Shark. What is your Instagram handle? Go ahead and post it in there, and other people will be able to follow you too. Anything? I guess that's it. Nobody's got any questions today. That was all right. Well, hey, nobody else has got any questions, and we're gonna bail on out of here. And I'm gonna see if I can edit this thing into something that's actually usable for the world at large. See what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole training thing on iOS apps, iPad and iPhone from that chair. At least I think that's the plan. Yeah, actually, I think it could be good. Jason Joseph, I think your set would look good in black and white. That's actually not a bad idea. That would look kind of cool in black and white. I wonder, let's find out. I can do that. Let's find out. All right, let's see here. I will go, let's go to this view. And I will set the camera to black and white. Oh, I can stop recording over here, can't I? Ha, that'd be a good idea. Don't really need that for like a 6-hour recording there. Okay, so that's set. Let's go in and change these settings, change the colors to, where are we? Oh, that's the wrong one. Photo style, there we go. Let's do low monochrome dynamic. There it is. We're on the monochrome dynamic setup now. Let's go back to that view. I would need to turn off that other light again. Full proper view. So let's turn that off. There you go. No, I'm in black and white. Of course, the phone, you don't want to see that in black and white, but let's see here. Hey, look at that. Let's see. Get to of course, it's not going to load anything, is it? Let's see if it loads it now. Anyway, that actually does look good in black and white, doesn't it? Kind of cool. I don't think I'll do the show in black and white, but I like it. Of course, I lose my little blue accent light and all that stuff. Pfft, that's totally not loading. Anyway, cool. Back to it. Is that a good idea? I don't know. That's kind of neat. Okay. Oh, I forgot to turn the light on back there. It doesn't matter. What do you guys think? Black and white, is it good? Shark says the only thing you would change is the royal red chair. Okay, so interesting. I have, Sean says dark mode. Dork mode? Dark mode. Or it could be dork mode. So the chair, I've been looking for a red leather chair. I wanted basically that style of chair, that kind of high wingback chair, but in red leather. I've been looking for one like that, and I haven't found it. But then I came across this one, which is kind of the right color. It's a little bit more orange, although I think it shows up pretty nicely red on screen. Can't switch back to it now. It's in color. I mean, it's in black and white. But I like it. But you don't like it? That's okay. Tell me, do you think a different type of chair, different color chair? What is it you don't like about it? Let me know. Let me know. Let's see here. Jason says a little more tweak to the process, a little more contrast. Yeah, I could probably use a little extra contrast in there. But that did go to the dark, or what I use, the dynamic or extra dynamic, I forget. I used the most dynamic black and white profile. Sean says restoration hardware. Yeah, but then they'll charge me like $1,000 for a chair. I was trying to find a used one. I didn't want to spend that kind of money on a stupid chair. I mean, it'd be lovely, I'm sure, but you know, hey, if you want to buy me one, I'll take it. I just need a pipe and a fireplace. Car Galaxy Monochrome D. Yeah, that's it. Monochrome D. It was looking pretty good. Jason Joseph. I looked through over literally 10,000 chairs to find the right chairs for 6 pieces separation. No joke. Houzz is a great resource, as is Pinterest. I'll email you what I landed on. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I just bought that last week. I like it, but it's not perfect. It's not what I was really looking for originally. But yeah, Jason, I'd love to hear what you got. Okay. All right. That's that. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in for that. That was interesting. I'm glad that it worked out. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Hopefully you found it to be interesting and educational, and you'll actually maybe go do those things with your Instagram. And yeah, we're gonna call it. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, happy 4th of July. Those of you in the U.S. See ya.